What is going on? Welcome on in to today's trade recap on this fine Monday, October 30th, 2023. We have a majority locked in trade. That is on Tesla. We finished the day up 133.6 in realized gains. There are technically 5 shares floating out in the account, so there are still 5 shares left. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I could technically lock those in for an additional $30, $40, $50 gain, or a loss, or a break even. We'll see. I technically moved my stop loss up, but in the prop account, I cannot trade in the after hours or pre-market, so I am only going to be dealing with the price action after open, which is kind of unfortunate, which is also why I was like, let's just lock the majority in here. The reason why I'll get into in a second, but it was on Tesla. So we played Tesla short here on TradeZilla. We're tracking it. Because we are in, well, it's because it's not the ticker symbol. It's in the prop account. We're trading CFDs. It's an unknown symbol, but this was Tesla shares. So I played a bigger picture breakdown on Tesla. If we jump back to where she is, there she is. You'll see what I'm talking about. I will go to the 4-hour chart. And I was like, this is where I started off this morning. And I'm like, okay. Breakdown. So I entered around 202, 203 on the breakdown. And then I locked some gains in. I only took 25 shares, but I locked some nice gains in on the way down. Not at the lows of the day, but down around 197, 196, 195. I was locking some in on Tesla. And then I held 5 just overnight, as in, hey, we're still below the level. We're still closing pretty weak. Nothing really suggests me to get out of this. And market was up today, believe it or not, up pretty good. And Tesla was down. So I like that we have relative weakness here. I just don't want to overstay my welcome, which is why I locked a good chunk of it in. Because if you go back to SPY, what SPY is going to show you is, SPY's 4-hour chart. Well, I'll go to the daily chart on SPY to get a better view of it. You had a nice push today. You're up 1.19, like you bounced back nicely. If this bounce was to sustain itself in the coming days, right, Tesla's probably going to bounce. So I just don't want to overstay my welcome on the short side. And that was really it. So plus, overnights, risk. So I just didn't want to risk much overnight. And that's why I decided to do what I decided to do. But I do want to pull up Bookmap and show you kind of the levels that I was watching and the key level that I was really watching here. But we'll get to that here in a second. So overall, though, we're not at the trade recap for the month yet. I will probably have that out shortly in the next couple of days by the end of the week once the month is technically over. Reason why is because I will be probably not trading much on the back half of the week. Maybe I will, but it will be, if I am, it's going to be swings probably only. And I look around, I don't really see a lot of swing opportunities on the long side, maybe some on the short side, but not much on the long side. Overall, though, so far we're doing pretty good. We'll dive a lot deeper into these numbers as we get into that full trade recap. But we're coming in around a 50-50 win rate. Good average win-loss, which I'm happy with, and then just netting a nice gains. I mean, that's all you can ask for. We've switched over to the prop account. We can pull that up here in a second. But I do want to pull up on Bookmap. I just want to jump back here and look at Tesla today and show you guys like the key levels that I was watching. But I'll pull up here in a second. In terms of the prop firm account, we are at 21% of the way there to getting a funded account, which is kind of cool. I could be playing with bigger size. I could, but it's kind of just a similar size I've been used to in terms of wins and losses. Realistically, I could start sizing up because the reality is that I'm not going to be hitting these max drawdown numbers and and stuff. Chances are I will not be hitting them. Not really in risk of hitting them anytime soon, or even if I sized up a little bit. We're playing with a size that is pretty responsible in my opinion, and is not at risk. So there are some people that will trade prop firm accounts and they'll go kind of crazy. If they hit them in 3 trades, they hit the target, or 3 trades, they're out. I just don't want to do that. I want to just trade it like I would normally trade my account. And so we'll just size up as we see fit and as time allows, right? As the charts allow, and all that stuff. So Tesla, it's still loading up. But essentially, if you zoom this bad boy back out for today, you had a pretty big move down, okay? And we'll look here at the liquidity on Bookmap as it loads in a second. But we were watching Tesla break down, and the $200 level was kind of like the level that I was like, that's going to be the key. And once we broke below $200, it ended up being like the key. There's a lot of reaction around that level. And if you look on the right-hand side, that's the liquidity at 200, right? Very deep reds. It's still loading up, which is why it's not showing perfectly just yet. But it's very, very deep reds. And so you had a pretty massive amount of orders stacking up there. And eventually you came down to it, you broke below, snapped back above, broke back below, and then eventually pushed below. And so that was kind of what ended up happening like for the day. And then it stayed below that level. So because it didn't close back above 200, I was pretty happy with where I'm sitting. So I was feeling in no rush to, necessarily get out of everything. But at the same time, got to hold overnight, we got to swing overnight. And I want to just make sure we're locking gains in appropriately in case it came back against us substantially. So maybe I could have sold a little bit less. Maybe I could have done some other things, played bigger size. There's a lot of things I could have done, would have done, should have done. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the trade. It's pretty solid. It was a pretty solid trade, in my opinion. Looking at the bigger picture charts, there you go. So look at that. So even still, right, massive liquidity at that $200 level, okay? And then it's come back and just stayed below that for the majority. Came down to 195, massive liquidity there at 195. Funny enough, it just undercut that by a bit and then bounced and held above that. And then it stayed below 200. So you're kind of in this $195 to $200 level on Bookmap that we're seeing, or at least on Tesla, that now we're seeing clearly on Bookmap as the spots to watch. So we'll see if that carries over into tomorrow. But that was that. Bookmap, I would highly recommend if you're going to use it, like load it up way ahead of time. Probably should have done that myself. Load it up way ahead of time, get it set, because if you're running 17 different things, like it can take some time to load up. But that was the deal. And that, my friends, as we exit out of the Bookmap and back over to here, is today's trade recap. So our current account here, we still have an open position on GameStop, half, a small open position on Tesla, and that gets you kind of from where we are locked in balance, our realized balance versus our current account balance. So this growth target goes off the current account balance, which technically isn't fully realized, but that's where we currently sit. Thanks so much for watching. I'll leave links to TradeZella, I'll leave links to Surge, I'll leave links to Bookmap, all that stuff down below like always. Hope you guys enjoy, and I will keep bringing these videos as we have trades to review. Peace.